So today I'm going to review with you guys the editing process for John Holt's work, Growing Without Schooling. So inside your email you will receive a Word document that looks something like this and a PDF of the original. And our goal is to try and get our Word document to match our PDF as well as commit to APA formatting as well. So you're going to notice here right away up at the top the Word document is already in a template. So you notice that there's several different font styles. So you have Holt Normal, Holt H1, which is our title font, and our Holt Journal title over here. So this is what we're going to be using as we go through the document. So the first thing we're going to want to look at is our headings up here, and unfortunately with the template the headings are on the opposite side. So all we have to do is click at the top and just use your backspace button to align the heading with our number. And if you scroll down to the second page, if you just use your tab function to move over Growing Without Schooling and then use your ruler up at the top to push Growing Without Schooling, the title, as far as you can go without knocking it over the edge, and that's about where it sits there. So then you can see that odd is on the left and even's on the right, and this will continue throughout your document. The next step is you can see on our original document here that we have sort of subtitles, and so we're going to go through our document and highlight all these subtitles. So it's all about just scanning, and you'll notice here that the titles come all in caps. So you're just going to highlight it and hit the Holt H1 function, and you're just going to make sure that the title's in line with your text and that the spacing's correct. And you're just going to very easily scroll through anything that's bold and capsed, anything that's caps like that we're going to bold in our Holt H1 font. Now it's really important that we use the Holt H1 font and not just bold the titles, because it's actually a completely different font. The Holt Normal is a Times New Roman and the title font is actually Arial. So it's important we use these functions up here. The next thing we're going to look at is curly quotes versus straight quotes. So I'm just going to try and find an example of what the document has here. Here we go, rescuing. So you can see that right now from the PDF conversion we have straight quotes, and APA requires that we need curly quotes. So in order to do this, you just go up to the top here and you go auto format, and you click on auto format and you make sure auto format and review each change is on, and you go into your options, and all you do is you're going to tick off straight quotes with smart quotes, because we want them to be smart quotes or curly quotes. And you make sure you don't have any other of the tick boxes on, and we're definitely going to preserve our style. So you're going to click OK and OK again. And what Word will do is it'll allow you to accept all, reject all, or you can review each change one at a time. I find it's easy is just to accept all, and then as you go through your final read through, just making sure that the quotes are heading in the right direction. So you can see here that you have the beginning quote is facing the right way and the end quote is facing the right way. Sometimes there'll be an odd space and you'll get the end quote facing the opposite direction. So you just want to keep your eyes out for stuff like that. The next thing we're going to look for is our ellipses, and our ellipses are the dots at the end of a quote or separating two ideas, those kinds of things. So we're just going to go edit, find, and replace, and we are going to find ... nice and squished together. You can see them right here. Word clumps them together, and we want to space that out because that's how APA is. So we want dot, space, dot, space, dot. And again, you can replace each individually if you want and review beforehand, or you can go replace all. And I find it's easiest to replace all, and then as you go through the document, just making sure that the space is worked out properly, because sometimes there'll be an extra odd space, or like you can see here, the 3 separated, but then there was a 4th that needs to be moved over. And so sometimes you'll notice with ellipses there's 4 in a row, and that's okay because that's the end of a sentence plus the ellipses to insinuate a continuing idea there. So that's okay. Just sometimes you have to make sure to catch those in order to add that extra space. The next thing we're also going to look at is words like, for example, homeschooling. So when everything was transferred over, homeschooling for some reason was 2 words, and we want that to be 1 word. So it's the exact same idea. We just go edit, find, replace, and you have homeschooling as 2 words, and we're just going to combine homeschooling into 1 word. And again, you can replace all of these individually, or you can replace all, and that's the easiest thing. So now on to the slightly less automated section is now we are going to look for article titles, journal titles, book titles, court cases. So in the original, these are normally underlined, or sometimes they're in caps font. So we just want to go through and we just want to make sure that these are these format with APA. So we just want to italicize these. So you can highlight GWS, which is Growing Without Schooling. It's Holt's own work. You can highlight it and just hit your Command I to italicize it, or you can use your Holt journal title up here. And you can see another GWS here, and I'm just going to see if I can find another example for you guys. And so those titles are going to stay capitalized because they are a short form. But somewhere in here we go, the Cape Cod Times. Now this we don't need capitalized, and you can tell that this is not a title because you can see the title above it. So we know we're not going to use the Holt H1 function. We need to bring this down to title font. So instead of retyping it, what saves a lot of time is just using this function up here, the big A down to the little a. You're just going to click on that and you're going to hit title case, and it drops it down into like a book title, for example, and then you're going to use your Holt journal title or your Command I function. So we've had GWS, Cape Cod Times, and lastly, court cases are to be italicized as well. So the best way to find your court cases is to go put into your Finder space v dot space, and that'll help find our court cases. And here you can see People versus Jones, and that can stay just as it is, and we're just going to italicize it. And then if there was another one that looks like that's our only one, you would be able to italicize the next one, and that's the best way to find your court cases. Now for our M dash versus an N dash. So you'll notice through the text there's a lot of these little dashes. Sometimes you find them in between words that are combined together, which is okay, and sometimes you find them in between things like phone numbers, or in between spans of time and years, so like 1990 to 1991, that kind of stuff. Those small dashes are okay. What we're looking to find are the dashes that separate a thought. And here you can see an example. Please help us in this way. And remember, if you don't want to receive GWS. So it's these dashes that we're trying to change. So we want to turn this into a long dash, an M dash. And so a lot of people sometimes make the mistake that this is an M dash. This is unfortunately not an M dash. We're not quite there. So we're just going to undo that. In order to make an M dash, you can go Insert, Symbol, Advanced Symbol, and just give my computer a minute. Here we go. And it'll bring up this browser for you. Here you want to find your M dash, not our MN dash, our M dash. And the easiest way to go through this is by using a keyboard shortcut. And I've made my keyboard shortcut Command, Option, and your minus or dash key. So to make your own, however you like, you can go keyboard shortcut. We have our M dash highlighted, and you can just hold down whatever keys are most comfortable for you. I like the Command, Option, dash button. So now that once you've done that, all you have to do is, as you're reading through, you just remove the improper dash and you use your key function. And so you'll be reading and you'll be checking things, and as you notice them, just using your key function one at a time. And replacing all of these.